Okay, hi everyone. Very good morning. And first of all, please subscribe, like my channel, share my channel, and leave a comment in comment section. Let me start our video today. Okay, first of all, the topic today is all about the dollar. The dollar became so obsessive to people, especially those who are in a market or everyday life in which they're doing business. Um, One of the most uh, so-called currency is dollar. Is it really dollar is powerful? When was it introduced? Which country introduced? What are the function of the dollar really? How do people have a trust in dollar? In which form dollar affect the everyday life? Okay, we come to the dollar. Dollar is a national currency or official currency for United States. Okay, first of all, we should know that the Federal Reserve Act on 1913 formed a Federal Reserve to print a 10 bill of US dollar that featuring Andrew Jackson portrait. So it's form of uh, central bank to have their own money or paper money to help the civil war in American on that time. Okay, 3 decades later, world has resumed or reserved the dollar as the most popular reserve currency in the world, and its trending began after first print of his first banknote. Okay, what that mean? The dollar rapidly climbed in favor of most countries' reserve as they are saving in a central bank which is located in US. Okay, the first paper currency was used in when 19 sorry 1690 when colonial notes were issued. What are the purpose of the colonial paper notes were issued? Is for the expenditure for the war. When a country was in a war, like America in the Civil War, they need fund or money to cover the expenses. So the Massachusetts Bay Colony were issued uh, banknotes to cover their expenses on war. So this fund military operation led the US to have an idea to have their own currency. Until 1776, there's no other bill or banknote were issued. But after 1773, USD banknote 2 were introduced later as an official adapt of dollar, and it was adapted from the Spanish American peso, which is portraying as a money. So in 1863, the Controller of Currency or OCC or National Currency Bureau formed a printing bureau, okay, or Bureau of Engraving and Printing Money in 1869, and they started to print money on 1869. US Treasury assumed official responsibility by issuing official legal tender a decade later. So the US dollar has been used or put on the legal tender after the Bureau of Engraving and Printing started to print dollar. Okay, after short a while, the Federal Reserve Bank on 1913 created a Federal Reserve to to as a move to cover the unreliability and instability of the currency system. So that means whichever country were introduced, their currency is not in a stable condition. It's always unstable and unreliable. That means a country cannot depend on the currency. So they have to introduce Federal Reserve. So the American by the they served introduced Federal Reserve Bank on 1913 to have a reserve on the money. So what happened is by the time the US economy is already surpassing the UK economy as the biggest economy in the world, so they need to Federal Reserve to save money or to stabilize the value of dollar and reliable to the dollar. So, what are the major changes has been done by the US by itself and other country? So, after the moment America became a world largest economy, it seems the majority developed countries pegged their currency to the gold. That means gold is a stable material which can trusted, stable, and put the currency in a stable situation compared to the currency exchange itself. So every country in the country started to peg their currency to the gold. So they hope the currency won't drop much or won't go up much. Okay. But after First World War, many countries also suspend their gold standard to pay military expenses with the paper money, which devaluate their currency. That means when they pay their expenses or war supplies for those who are supplying their war supplies, their currency value become devaluated or undervalued. So it affect their currency stability and reliability. Okay, understand. So each country's currency value go down when they pay their expenses by using their currency. So what happened is next is the US become leader of US currency by lending money to other country which is affected by the war in form of bond. They give the money or lending the money to other country which is affected by the war in form of bond. They can pay later with their interest. That means US make it smart in which country need money or fund to reconstruct their nation or country from the war can borrow from the US in form of bond, and when they pay back they should pay back the bond with the interest. So what are the effect of the action? So it's a lot of effect when they pay back the bond to the US with the interest. They pay maybe double triple time and more. So when US economy surpasses the Britain economy, Britain also have to abandon the gold standard, or Britain have to did not rely on the gold standard in 1931 when it affect the pound as a global currency, because when they pay the pound to the other country as an exchange of payment, the standard of gold payment affect their economy overall. Okay, dollar replaced pound as a central reserve currency for majority of the world nation. How come? When the each country in the Second World War started to pay the military expenses or weapon that supplied by the US by gold, the US gold reserve go up. That means until now, almost 90% of the global gold reserve is in the United States. So what happened is the other country worried that the currency will drop, the value of the currency will drop. So they have to do agreement with the US when the gold standard is no more used by the country, and the money also or the currency also is not stable or cannot be reliable. So there was a on 1944 Bretton Woods Agreement has been gathered most of the nation in the world who uh, at the agreement so that they can rely on dollar as a federal reserve and also as a global currency uh, compared to the gold standard. As I told you, when the country pay their expenses with the gold, it make it the US richer. Okay, make it US richer, and on Bretton Woods Agreement, as told by the US to the other country, they can rely on the US dollar by buying the US dollar and can stabilize the other country currency by having reserve in a central bank. Okay, they can buy US bond in Federal Reserve and can make as a saving to make sure that the country is in a stable condition. So in that agreement, gold standard abandoned by each country. So now US is put a agreement that each country can sold their dollar to and can buy the dollar to make the currency stable in second or as a second option, but it's not agreed by the most nation. So delegates from 44 allied countries made to foreign exchange that it would be disadvantage for any countries if world currencies no longer depend on the gold standard but pegged to US. That means every country in the world will be depend on the US dollar and not to the gold standard. So because of the gold is mostly owned by the US, it affect other nation. So come to the next level, the American established central bank between currency and dollar. It could strengthen the dollar itself and world economy. So what happened is the dollar became most trusted and confident currency in the world the moment the agreement was made. But after 1973, the dollar is de-linked. That means dollar did no longer depend on the gold standard as an exchange by the Richard Nixon, and it was led to do decide by the free market demand and supply. This was a shock to the world when the dollar is or dollar condition relied on the market demand and supply. So what will happen is the dollar still getting stronger after the decision by the President Nixon that is delinked to the gold. Although like that, there was up and down in the dollar value. The dollar is still trusted as a world most powerful currency by the most country, and most developed country is still reserving a US dollar by buying a lot of US Treasury bond to strengthen their economy. So the dollar keep growing and growing when the confidence and trust on the dollar keep in the mind of each country or developed country. And as the fixed by the country, when the country rely on the dollar, they cannot they cannot uh, let the dollar go simply like that, because if they go if they do so, they will affect their own economy. So we can see the US dollar was stick to the other world currency, and when the US economy go down, world economy also go down. That's the smartness of the US or American tactic. So what happened next is the Central Bank of America by itself reserve dollar of 59% of the world dollar, and in other country also have owning dollar more than 12.6 trillion in fourth quarter of 2020. So most people around the world believe that the dollar is a powerful currency, but really dollar depend on the market and market inflation, and dollar is also depend on the confidence of the people. So as long the people trust the US dollar as a powerful country, US economy as a powerful country, the dollar will keep growing, and our other currency and other nation economy will rely on the US as a powerful country and powerful economy in the world. So from this discussion, we can see that even there's a certain countries try to replace the dollar with their own currency like a euro, but they fail because they did not have the central treasury unit to make it euro as a powerful currency. Like China also, they fail, but they're growing as a globally renminbi. There's a Chinese currency is a reserve around 2% till now and is growing. So we can see the confident and trustworthy of the dollar is making the dollar is a stronger, but not the power of dollar itself. Thank you very much. Please subscribe, share, and like my video, and let a comment on comment section. Thank you.